Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We from IC2203P2 will present about Syariah ritual cleansing from perspective of fiqh and also halal industry. Before we start,
Assalamualaikum, my name is Azyansyazwani binti Mohamad Idrus.
My name is Zofiratulhusna binti Jamaluddin.
My name is Aqilah Binti Yusop.
my name is Nurul Aisyah binti Amir.
I'm Ahmad Danial bin Ishak.
My name is Aqil Mifzal bin Selamat.
Cleaning and cleansing are a crucial and significant aspect in Islam, and we as a Muslim are taught to always be in a clean condition, especially when we are about to perform prayers. So in this video presentation, we will discuss regarding all matters related to types of najis in Islam, which are najis mughalazah, mukhaffafah and mutawassitah. When the basic have been understood, the presentation will be followed by the explanation of Sharia ritual cleansing or Sertu as a type of cleaning method in Islam, and all matters related to it such as the method, supporting evidences from Al-Quran and As-Sunnah, discussion of ta'abudiyah concept in the method of Sertu, modern equipment of Sertu and fatwa regarding it, and last but not least, current issues related to Sertu in halal industry and action taken by the authorities as regard to the issue. So without further ado, let's begin the presentation.
Najis mean any impurities or dirty that can be a barrier to Muslim to perform their ibadah, for example, prayer and also tawaf. So, type of najis is different among mazhab. For example, for mazhab Hanafi, there are two types of najis, which are najis mughalazah and also najis mukhaffafah. While mazhab Maliki, they also have two types of najis, which are najis that agree upon by the scholars and also najis that not agree upon by the scholars. So, in this topic, we will explain more about the type of najis from mazhab Shafi'i, which are najis mughalazah, najis mutawassitah and also najis mukhaffafah. First is najis mukhaffafah. Najis mukhaffafah is the lightest dirty among the najis, and the example of this najis is urine from baby boys aged less than 2 years and fully breastfeed. And how to clean this type of najis? First, remove the najis. Second, sprinkle some water into the contaminated area until the characteristic is disappear. Second is najis mutawassitah. Najis mutawassitah is the middle one between najis mughalazah and also najis mukhaffafah. So in this najis mutawassitah, there are two types, which are najis ainiyah and also najis hukmiyah. Example of najis ainiyah is blood, carcass, vomit and alcohol, while najis hukmiyah is any najis that can't be seen or one of the characteristic has gone. For example, dry urine or dry vomit or dry blood. So how to clean this type of najis? First, remove the najis. Second, clean the contaminated area with mutlaq water until the characteristic has gone. And lastly is najis mughalazah. Najis mughalazah is self najis and most commonly debated among scholars. And the example of this type of najis is dog and also pigs. And how we want to clean najis mughalazah? First, remove the najis. Second, wash the contaminated area with soil and mix the water. And lastly is wash the contaminated area with mutlaq water for 6 times until the characteristic has gone. So in this type of najis, mazhab Shafi'i said that pig is more awla than dog, because of dog we can use the benefits, while pig we cannot use their benefits. Thank you.
What is Sertu? Sertu can be defined as a process of cleaning impurities from najis mughalazah, such as dogs, pigs, and their offspring. Najis mughalazah must be purified by using 7 washings once water is mixed with soil and 6 times clean water. According to Sharia, there are several ways have been used to purify the najis, which are Sertu with soil and Sertu with tohara soap. For Sertu with soil, the first step is to remove all the najis first until it is clean and the najis are no longer visible to the naked eye. Secondly, provide enough water by mixing a little soil into it, so that the soil changes the color of the clean water into the color of the soil. Thirdly, wash the place or object affected by najis mughalazah with mixed water soil until the water is in desired place as the first washer. Next, after the completion of the first wash, it should be washed 6 more times using clean water. Lastly, on the second or third wash, it is allowed to mix cleaning agents such as soaps that are believed to be clean if needed. Furthermore, for Sertu with Tahara soap, firstly, we should provide adequate clean water and Tahara soap. Secondly, mix the Tahara soap into the clean water by making sure the soap destroyed and the water is ready to use. Thirdly, run Tahara soapy water on the tool to remove existing najis to begin the Sertu process. After that, clean the tool with clean water 6 times. Upon completion of the Sertu process, clean the appliance with a detergent allowed and must be sanitized for 60 seconds. After that, just dry the tool. Easy, right?
Okay, now I will explain the discussion about ta'abudiah in the method of Sertu. Before diving into this discussion, we should know what ta'abudiah is. In simple words, ta'abudiah is an act of accepting any provision of Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala which has been stated in Al-Quran and Sunnah without any objection, should be accepted as it is and cannot be reasonably misunderstood. Most scholars, especially usul fiqh scholars, agreed that ta'abudiah provision is something that does not appear to have specific illah or specific reasons about why the provision was made. For example, in today's discussion, we will go to the method of Sertu. There are different opinions among the scholars which discuss how the method of Sertu is considered as ta'abudiah. Okay, for first discussion, the scholar discussed regarding the condition of Sertu made it as ta'abudiah, which in this discussion, it held 2 opinions about it. Okay, for first opinion, it's according to the Maliki scholars, which they stated the ta'abudiah is when the ta'abudiah is only when the dog licked the vessel, then it is compulsory to wash it 7 times. But for other thing that was touched or licked by the dog, like clothes or bed, it does not require the person to wash it 7 times because it was not mentioned, the condition was not mentioned and stated in the hadith. So it was not considered as ta'abudiah. Plus, Maliki scholars believe dog is one of pure animals and not required to be clean based on the Surah Al-Ma'idah verse 4. Where through this verse, Imam Malik said that if the dog is considered unclean, then the game meat brought by the dog to its owner is also considered unclean because usually the dog brought those meat with their mouth, while this contravene with opinions from Shafi'iyah, Hanafiyah and Hanabila scholars because they believe the ta'abudiah is the ruling of washing the vessel as much as 7 times in order to clean the vessel from najis, because as we know, dog and pig is under the category of najis mu'alaza. So if any part those animal including its saliva touch the vessel or other places, it should be washed the same way just mentioned in the hadith, which is 7 times and 1 time mixed with salt. The second point is contradiction between Ahli al-Ra'yu and Ahlul Ahadith, where they concerning the practicing of Sertu either with salt or not. Ahli al-Ra'yu believe the hadith focus to clean the vessel 7 times only, while the use of salt is optional. They argue if it not used in salt in the 7 times washing is allowable because the main reason in law for the provision is to eliminate the najis. So other alternative or option like washing it with sponges is permitted as long as the characteristic of najis have disappeared. And this opinion also supported by the sect of Imam Ahmad, where he permitted to use other than salt in such matters. However, this is contradict with opinions Imam Shafi'i, Az-Zuhri and most of Ahlul Ahadith. They stated it is compulsory to clean it with salt because the things was mentioned in the hadith, and things was mentioned in the hadith is considered as ta'abudiah, be it either with specific explanation or not. And this is because follow what was said by Prophet Mohamad SAW is a form of devotion. Thus, anything that was considered as ta'abudiah, where in this part of discussion, the salt usage cannot be changed with other substances, and wash up 7 times, either the dog lick the vessel or other things is compulsory because ta'abudiah is worshipping ibadah that is fixed and cannot be negotiable if there is no necessity behind it.
As we know, halal ritual cleansing, which is Sertu, has become essential activity in halal industry to make their product or machine that produce halal product is clear from severe najis. However, as the traditional method of Sertu should be using 1 time water mixed with soil and followed by 6 time mutlak water, then for the industrial application, it requires some modification. This is because to ensure that it will not cause any damage and scratch on the specific accessory of the equipment, which is very delicate and expensive. So in order to responding with this problem, some modern cleaning equipment for Sertu has been developed. First is Tahara soap. Tahara soap is generally known as clay soap, is made from the clay with the mixture of other natural minerals such as calcium, sodium and potassium. Nowadays, this Tahara soap has upgraded their use, which can be used for personal care also. However, some people are questioned about whether the sertu method using tahara soap is valid or not, since there are many people who live in the apartments finding that clean and pure soil for the sertu process is difficult for them. So based on the Muzakarah Fatwa Committee, Muzakarah has concluded that soap which having clear element in it is admissible to use for the cleaning najis mughalazah. If the soil is sacred, the percentage of soil contained in the soap is greater than other ingredient, and then the sertu process follow the syara. So this soap is allowable to be used. Second is clear liquid detergent. The most important requirement in clear liquid detergent is pH value. pH play a role in the prevention of rust in machinery and equipment. When compared to the several regular detergent formulation, all the detergent with the soil or clay sample are slightly acidic to natural, which at the pH 4.85 until 6.7. So clearly, clear liquid detergent are better than normal detergent since it has pH range that is safe. The validation of clear liquid detergent is followed by the fatwa that has been mentioned before. Lastly is the Sertu warewash machine. Sertu warewash machine has been developed by Brahim SAT Food Service, which can wash more than 500,000 pieces of airline tableware and silverware. The machine, which is said to be the first of its kind in the world, is Sharia compliant, ensuring that airline customer, particularly Muslim passenger, may enjoy their halal in-flight meals with peace of mind. The soil that was used was selected and has gone through a screening process by the authorities themselves. Typically, this soil is placed in the machine and combined with water, after which the nozzle is directed to the plate. The remaining nozzle are regular water, which totaling of 6 mutlak water washes. So this is 3 of the example of modern cleaning equipment for sertu that has been approved by JAKIM and has been concluded admissible by the Muzakarah itself.
Now I will talk about the issue of sertu in halal industry. First, the issue is about sertu for flight kitchenware. As we know, kitchen appliance for airlines have a large amount for each flight. There are airlines that offer non-halal food to non-Muslim passenger. The issue that arises is how the limited amount of staff to do the sertu process for kitchen utensils that have been mixed with haram food perfectly in a massive quantity. This issue have been solved with the help of Brahim's Fats Food Service Sdn Bhd BSFS in conjunction with Jabatan Kemajuan Islam Malaysia. Both contribute in the making machine that can help with sertu process. According to the company, the machine was the prototype was built in German and had been supervised by JAKIM and have been approved the usage in Malaysia. This is one of the effort by a responsible organisation to ensure that certain practices is implemented effectively without any problem and can benefit for the future halal industry. JAKIM has validated all the material used for the sertu process in the machine, such as for each sertu process, the soil contained for both soil and water content is between 0.6% and 2.5%. According to My Metro, this initiative has helped more than 250 flights daily from various airlines company to fulfill the needs of Sharia by implementing sertu and comply with the halal standards that have been stated by JAKIM. Next, the issue of manufacturing sertu liquid, which is seen as inconsistent with the fatwa decided by Muzakarah Jawatan Kuasa Fatwa. The sertu operators are seen to give their own interpretation for the rate of the soil content that should be mixed in their sertu liquids or sertu products. The operator need to consult with JAKIM or JAIN and to ensure that each product produced is in compliance with the fatwa. The operator should know the exact requirement of material that approved by JAKIM to proceed with the producing for certain liquids to ensure its validity. This problem can be related with the modest degree of awareness and knowledge between community. The public must be well educated that the certain process is not regarded as problematic anymore. To improve their knowledge, JAKIM has arranged seminar and classes in order to educate those who are involved in halal industry and to avoid any action that contradict with Malaysian halal standards. That's all from me. I will pass to next presenter.
As for the third issue regarding sertu, it is regarding the issue of performing sertu on 150 trolleys at one of supermarket in Puchong, which has happened in 2019, where a Chinese man bring his dog to the supermarket and put the dog in the trolley at the supermarket. So this situation has triggered most of Muslim consumers as the photos of that Chinese man and his dog went viral on the social media, and it was reported that the signage of prohibition to bring animals to the supermarket even has been displayed at the entrance. So this issue has caught the attention of the Committee of Masjid Bandar Bukit Puchong MBBP, and they volunteered to perform Syariah ritual cleansing or sertu on 150 trolleys at the supermarket, and it was reported that the sertu must be performed on all trolleys that have been used on the day of the incident, as the contaminated trolley have been stored with other trolley. The fourth and last issue is regarding the issue of performing sertu on stalls that serve pork. So on October 2018, an expo, which is Expo Tastefully Food and Beverage, was held, which in a sum of 170 food stalls has been exhibited. The issue starts to occur when there were 7 food stalls that serve pork were not separated from other halal food stalls, and this is actually a clear offence, even though the signage of non-halal food has been displayed on the stall. But then cross-contamination still can occur when the stalls are not separated. So Melaka International Trade Center MITC then ordered those 7 stalls to be closed in order to be performed sertu or Syariah ritual cleansing by Jabatan Agama Islam Melaka Jaim, after the issue have been discussed with Mufti Melaka, Datuk Abdul Halim Tawil, and Yang di-Pertua Majlis Perbandaran Hang Tuah Jaya regarding the corrective action that need to be executed.